Bones are amazing things. They hold us up. They support us. They make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to Bone Throwers Theater. Welcome to Season 3 of Elements of War. This is Johnny, who plays Chime North.
This is Jeff playing Jerr Lan.
This is Jeremy playing Julian Illix.
This is Aaron playing Sam Feluge.
Ellie playing Archi.
And I'm Jordan, and I barely play anybody. So Season 2 ended on a bit of a bang, where you all had to basically flee the town of Consiglio, get out of town because bad things were going to happen, because, well, someone got a hold of a magic helmet and started broadcasting information.
Broadcasting a manifesto.
Yeah.
Well, we figured out that we were actually fighting the council. So, like physically. So, there was no more staying in the city after that.
Can't really stick around.
No. Might as well do some damage on our way out.
All because Sam wanted to contact an old buddy.
Yeah, well, we killed actually 2 council members.
2 council members, correct. That's not a bad body count for the council.
No.
So, you all have fled Consiglio.
Yes.
And it is now a new shift in locations. We are now outside of the town, and the area around Consiglio in North Bellasaira is pretty much all tundra. I actually watched the movie Snowpiercer this week.
I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
In like a terrible way.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it. That movie Snowpiercer very much like follows some very similar tropes as Elements of War.
Okay.
Like in terms of like the classism and like keeping information from people, and also homeostasis in populations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting take on the world, except instead of a domed city, they chose to do it on a moving train.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what we're going to do is something very similar to what we've done in the past, where we've had focused episodes on specific characters. And our first character that we're going to focus on is actually Chime. This is going to be very similar to a free-form episode of Fiasco. Johnny, we're going to go ahead and let you set some scenes. I'll arbitrate what needs arbitrating, and I'll play any NPCs that we need. But to set the scene, you all have left the dome. You're trying to travel ostensibly to the animal preserve because you have a few androids with you that need some mechanical medical attention.
And also Katari.
Yes, Katari. I was trying to remember if Katari was an elemental or an android, so that took a second.
No, she's just an elemental.
A proxy.
Proxy, yes.
She was just an elemental.
Yes.
She would not be with us.
No, but her elemental is sick.
Yes, Daisy is sick. So
It's so weird that people name their elementals.
Or did the elementals name themselves?
Shane already had a name. He was polite enough to introduce himself.
Anyway, we'll go ahead and save that for Jer's episode. There's some conflict right there that might be really fun to dig into. Chime, you all are outside of your area of expertise.
Yes.
Did you ever serve...
I was always a paper pusher.
Always a paper pusher. You never had to do like any kind of winter weather
No.
training or anything like that?
Nothing like that at all. I've never left the city before.
I would think that the winter weather training would be standard for military, though.
It's very...
Seeing as
it's
how
emergency
the state of
winter
living-
weather conditioning is part of basic training, but that's just emergency training.
How are you feeling about leaving the city for the first time?
It's a very conflicted feeling. It's a lot of fear, going out into the unknown. But at the same time, it's a relief to know that I'm getting away from the people who are trying to kill me.
That is a...
Or are you? Sorry.
I wasn't going to say anything. But
I wasn't planning to kill you today, but okay. What would you like to do for the first scene focusing on Chime?
So I'm thinking the first flashback as I'm leaving the city with people chanting North.
Yes.
I think back to the day that Choler decided to take a fire elemental.
Okay. I would imagine that this is something of a rite of passage, maybe something that you do between the ages of 10 to 12.
Yeah.
Is you are presented with the option. You can choose whether...
I'd say more 10 to 14, but yeah.
Or 2.
That wasn't a choice.
Sometimes people make choices for other people. I mean, that's the way the world works. So, you're the younger brother, if I remember correctly.
I'm the younger brother by about 4 years.
So, let's say he was about 12.
Mm-hmm.
So that would put you at about 8.
Yes. And he's been tormenting me my entire life. I think this will be when my phobia of fire elementals started.
Do we have any volunteers to play young Choler?
I'll do it.
Says my younger brother.
It'll be a challenge for me. Because it is way outside my wheelhouse.
Yes, it is.
I will be their father.
Vester.
North.
Yep.
Go ahead and pull out the map of Consiglio. We have something really cool that we've never talked about before.
Are we going into the center?
We're going into the center of Consiglio.
Chime has been in the center of Consiglio? Oh, man.
Ooh.
Oh.
So they're in the exact center of the city where all of the hubs meet, right next to the army base. There is a blank zone that we have not yet discussed.
Yeah.
In Consiglio.
The closest we've come to it is the Black House on the army base.
Yes. We're going to go ahead and name this Zone 0. This is actually the place that the council claims the elementals first appeared in the world.
The council claims. It would be a good place to do the rites.
Yeah. So we'll say that Vester takes both sons, Choler and Chime, to Zone 0 as a camping trip, so to speak. There's an area that's kept pretty lush, pretty green. There are 4 different sub-quadrants in there. And basically what happens is that the initiate, for lack of a better term, goes to a place, a zone in the middle. They walk through some underground tunnels, and then they're brought up on a raised elevator. Kind of, you've seen the movie Hunger Games, right? Very much like that. And then they wait and watch and see if something appears to draw them in to a specific area. And there's one area is like a waterfall. There's another one that looks very much like a garden with a lot of trees and plants and flowers, and everything is growing and vibrant with botanical life, and you can just smell that rich, musty earth. And third, there's a wind that just kind of circulates like a dust devil, just in the middle. Everything is swept clean except for this whirlwind that's approaching. And then the fourth is a pool of lava.
Choler's just going to be I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know exactly where I'm headed to.
So he doesn't even wait to see if an elemental presents themselves.
Nope. He's going to go over to the lava pool, and first inkling of movement he sees, he's going to reach out and grab it.
Okay, go ahead and roll 3d6.
Nope. 2.
Good try, Jeff. Good try. So Choler burns his hand as he tries to grab fire.
Choler, be careful.
Son, don't say anything to him. He has to work this out for himself.
Yeah, shut up, Pipsqueak. Always in my hair. Alright, so he circles the pool of lava.
Okay.
Just being patient, watching, waiting.
How does young Chime feel about his older brother?
He both cares for him and is afraid of him. He wants to be treated better and feel loved, but instead he feels fear.
Go ahead and roll again. Try and attract a elemental.
Seriously.
2.
Seriously?
Get it all out now.
At least you're not rolling it with Jerr.
We're going to swap out the die. So, like a belch of flame comes out and actually licks across Choler's upper shoulder and like sears the flesh of his shoulders. Chime, your older brother who you love is getting hurt.
Yeah, I start to run towards him.
Yeah.
Choler, watch out! It's going to burn you.
Shut up. Get out of here.
There are 3 council members who are... Actually, 4 council members watching the proceedings.
So I start to run towards Choler to grab him and run back away from the lava.
Okay, go ahead and make me a running roll.
Oh!
I got a bad feeling about this.
Season 3 is going to be awful. 3 rolls, 3 ones.
So you trip.
I trip.
And you're stumbling forward, windmilling your 8-year-old arms.
Quick trip.
And you run into him. Yeah, and you both fall into the lava. Choler hits the lava first, and he's just engulfed. And then, as Chime is falling, there's an explosion as both of them are basically physically ejected from the lava pool. And like this huge bubble just kind of forms, like pushing everything out. The air gets this awful burned ozone smell to it. You can see the flames are starting to lick around the council members' robes as they're standing on the opposite side of the pool.
I want to say something about the council members so bad.
Go ahead.
3 of the council members at the explosion kind of perk up and back up just a little bit. 1 council member just stands there, just puts his hand out to the other ones, and then points right at Vester North. Doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
Just points at him.
Alright, so I just got thrown out by a fire explosion.
Yeah. You hit the ground close to your father. Come here, boy.
What kind of burns have I sustained?
It's very superficial because of the it was more like the force of the explosion that knocked you back. But you hit the ground pretty hard. You have the air knocked out of you.
Dad, I was just trying to help him. I didn't want him to get hurt.
You come here right now.
Sorry, Dad. I just wanted to help him.
You can't help him. He has to do this on his own. Do you know what you get for this? And he lights up his hand and just holds it to your face.
No! Ah!
Don't
Ah!
flinch!
Ah!
And he starts singeing.
I'm sorry, Dad!
He starts singeing your forehead.
I'm sorry!
At this point, he stops. Choler, are you alright?
Yeah, just a little bit of gas in my lungs.
You're unharmed.
Alright. Choler is going to reach again.
There you go.
Oh, what's 5, 17?
Choler has successfully bonded to the fire elemental.
You jump, the fire comes out of you.
Sweet. Dad, did you see that?
I did!
And he, like, throws his hands out in front of him. Like Johnny Flame on. And 2 fireballs just engulf his hands without burning him at all.
The 1 council member that pointed at Vester at that point steps forward and lights his hands as well.
And he actually points at Chime and says, because you have interrupted your brother's choosing process, you will not be allowed to undergo the initiations.
I'm just whimpering, crying, laying at my father's feet.
He kicks you. Stop that.
Sorry.
He reaches down and grabs you by the arm and pulls you up and shoves you back towards the elevator.
I'm sorry. Maybe we can call it scene then.
I think we can call that a scene.
I blocked all that out.
You probably didn't even know where you were,
Yeah.
like when it was going on.
No. And even as an adult, I don't know that I would recall that that's actually the council chambers.
Right.
I would recognize the council in the flashback, but not exactly where it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what flashes through my head as I step out of the city
As you're leaving the city.
As I'm leaving the city for the first time. I'm looking out, and it's just a vast wasteland of white. This is my thought process. I finally escaped from that horrible place that I didn't even realize I was trapped in. Where do I go from here? I know where I started. I know where we are going. But what's my goals? Am I ever going to return here? Am I ever going to know why my father treated me that way?
At this point, we'll say that you were kind of falling back behind the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Julian comes up, try and get you to keep coming forward.
You don't realize it, but Julian had just stopped along the path and waits for you.
I'm
to
just
catch
slowly
back up.
strolling.
It's like, you need to wake up. You need to keep your eyes peeled out there.
I'm sorry.
You know, I said when we left the city, the kind of creatures out here that are going to hunt us are going to pick off people from the back of the pack.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I remember you saying that. It's just remembering what was hunting me before. Well, I'll do my best to keep up.
Keep up.
I'll do my best. And I start to walk a little bit faster to try to catch up with the rest of the group.
Julian at that point just turns around and looks at the back and starts to walk backwards, still looking behind him, like a few paces before he turns around.
Okay.
I guess the next scene I would frame would be after 2 days of hiking.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a survival.
Hey, that wasn't 2 ones. 9.
Okay. You're able to keep up with everybody just fine. You all are starting to get concerned about the rations levels that you've got. You're going to have to start thinking about like how to proceed while like trying to hunt or trap your own food.
So I'd say that I guess Julian, being the most experienced out here with how to survive in the wild, so I'd say that Julian probably the one who brings up the idea of a hunting party, trying to do his part, volunteers to assist any way he can.
So this has been
2 days.
This has been a couple of days. How long do you think it's going to take us to walk?
If we walk the entire way, we're talking months.
It's a good several hundred kilometers.
Okay, so honestly, in 2 days, Julian's not going to ask you to do any hunting.
Yeah.
Well, he's not asking. Julian's not asking. From what I understand, Chime is volunteering.
Yes. That's
Julian
exactly
would
it.
refuse.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and play this out and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So, I guess the scene starts off is Julian's in there. He's talking to Bear. Bear has a pack on, and he's facing away from Julian. Julian is sitting there, and he's in there, and he's taking out all of the rations.
Right.
And it's like, Bear, we don't need this. We're going hunting for like 2 hours.
But I can't feel the dirt. How am I going to know if we're going to survive if I can't feel the dirt? So you got to eat to survive.
It'll be 2 hours. And we are going to get food.
How do you know it's only going to be... What if there's an avalanche? What if we fall in ice?
We're nowhere near mountains right now. There's not going to be an avalanche.
But what about a manticore?
Look, we're only going like half an hour from here.
Do you know how much I eat in half an hour?
In this half an hour, nothing.
But I'm hungry.
And he says, "Oh, Chime, you're here."
Yeah, I hear you talking. Is there anything I can do to help? I'm more than willing to go help you bring back whatever you catch. I'm a decent shot. Is there any way I can help you?
You could carry some rations.
That's actually not a bad idea. You can carry these rations
Okay.
back to Jerr, so he can put them away.
Okay. There's nothing you want me to do out on the hunting party?
We need them. Julian, we need them. We need them.
Are you sure you want to take him?
Bear, I'm about to leave you. You're going to stay here.
No. I go.
Then you do what I say. Chime, you've been out here for 2 days.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to learn from you.
Right now, this is not the place to learn.
Where is, if not here? I mean, you can't get experience in the wild without being in the wild, right?
That is true, but
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
Oh. 10. Of course.
31.
31?
Gotta remember, that's my special ability.
I like seeing Jeremy. He's like rolling. He's like, "Oh, all right."
If you were in a really agitated mood at me, I would have had another die to roll. Look, I'm telling you, I can help you. I'm trying to learn from you. I won't do anything outside of what you tell me to do specifically. I'm trying to learn.
Julian's going to get really angry. And he's going to actually say 100% what he's thinking right now. He's going to say, look, we are less than 5 miles from a major hunting ground of an animal that you don't want to mess with. You don't want him to even smell that we are here. You want to come along with me? Fine. You make one misstep, you'll be gone. And this group will be much better off. Follow me. Bear, let's go.
So all three of you head off into the wild. With that, we're going to take just a few moments of a break. Thank you so much.
Do you ever wonder when Spider-Man goes to the bathroom if the toilet paper sticks to his fingers?
Do you ever wonder why Superman wears his underwear outside of his pants?
My name is Imran.
My name is Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the nerd.
And we're your hosts for the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we sometimes try to attempt to answer these questions.
This is a full spoiler podcast, and we swear a lot.
Check it out for awesome geek news, interviews, and comic book reviews. Visit jockandnerd.com. We are your superhero TV, movies, and comic book culture curators.
Boom.
Jockandnerd.com. Jock and Nerd!
And we are back. As you're going, you see some small animals, inconsequential things, some birds flying above, and all of a sudden they'll drop down, and then they'll come up with small rats and things that are well adapted towards
Snow animals.
snow animals. Yes. Every once in a while, you'll see a wild air elemental or water elemental moving across the tundra, from a distance.
So what does that look like?
You see that?
Yeah.
Is it just a streak of color? Or
So sometimes the snow will rise up in waves and crest over each other and just keep flowing across the tundra. And sometimes you'll see the air elementals cyclones that all of a sudden go from light to dark to light to dark. And it's just shadows coming out of nowhere and then swallowing something up and then dissipating all of a sudden. And sometimes they will coincide where you'll see the snow cresting and then it'll disappear for a second, just invisible. And then you'll see the snow falling on the other side of maybe a 4-foot gap for no reason.
unusual place out here.
This is the real world.
I'm learning that. Where are we going? How should I prepare myself?
Hey, Bear.
Uh-huh.
Teach him how to sharpen that stick.
So this is a stick.
Okay.
Just like we did last time.
Uh-huh. Here's a rock.
Okay.
You take the stick, and you take the rock, and you put the end of the stick on it, and you go like this.
How many of these do we need?
And then you turn it, and then you poke something, like this.
Bear, stop. Stop, Bear. Stop.
You get maybe one, maybe two shots of this.
Okay, how many
So
of
you
these
gotta try
sticks? So I should prepare 2 sticks?
Bear's got one. You need a second one.
Okay. I start sharpening the stick.
I would imagine you can
Do that while we're walking.
Yeah, continue
Yeah.
walking while you're
That was
going.
the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and make me a tracking roll, Julian.
18.
You're starting to see some tracks.
Of a single type of animal?
Yeah, like what you're actually hunting.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many sets?
It looks like about 2 sets.
2 sets.
A big one and a little one.
That's a big animal. Is that what we're after?
A little one,
Little one's what we're after?
which is the tricky part.
I'm just thinking about the dangers of the big one when we take the little one.
That's the tricky part.
So should we just follow these tracks?
From where we think we are, we won't see the big one's tracks much longer.
Okay. So we just keep following the little ones?
When we stop seeing the big one's tracks, we need to stop.
Okay. So that's the next step.
When the big one stops, you see Julian motions Bear come over, and he is holding his finger up.
I put my hand over top of Bear's mouth.
He reaches into the pack, pulls out, it's like a blanket, but it's got a bunch of like brush and rocks and stuff like weaved into one side of it. And he actually takes the sharpened sticks and he puts those in the ground and puts it one edge of it up over top.
Okay.
And he points and motions for Chime and Bear to get underneath of that.
I crawl underneath.
So it's creating like this
Like a lean-to.
Yeah. And then Julian holds his hand out and gonna motion for them to like wait there. And then he actually slowly creeps up and goes over top of the next hilltop. And then probably like 2 or 3 minutes later, you hear running footsteps.
Stick my hand out just enough to see if I can see what's coming. Not enough to like be visually seen if I can help it, but just enough to see what's coming.
Okay.
Julian is actually, he's carrying this animal that is limp. He's charging, he's like sprinting, and he like slides right into underneath of the thing, and then he's holding up, and his arm is just covered in blood, and he holds his finger up over his mouth, like.
Go ahead and make me a reflexes roll to make sure that you get into the lean-to.
What's the target number?
Why is it fun to tell you?
So he knows he wants to use a hero point now?
Target number's 15.
I got character points. 9. 1 character point. 12. Second character point. 14. 3 character points. Yeah, now I rolled the 6. 20.
Congratulations, you're able to slide into the lean-to while handling a large infant winter creature. It's a pretty heroic feat of effort right there.
Yeah. As he's motioning for them to be quiet, you hear something flying over top.
You hear like this animal screech.
You know, I'm wide-eyed. I'm looking at Julian. I'm looking at the creature in his arms. Is the creature dead or is it moving?
It's dead.
Okay.
It's dead.
Okay. Slightly panicked, but trying to stay calm. Can we
Correct.
see it fly over us?
Every so often, but it seems to be growing in intervals. The time it takes is taking longer.
It's
and
searching
longer.
further and further away.
Yes, correct. But it seems to be moving in like a circular pattern.
Okay. Motion Julian, point at my watch on my arm, you know, with a questioning look.
Julian's gonna wait for it to circle back around, and then see him like counting, like in his head, and then he holds up 5.
5 more rotations.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, the time passes. You're able to crawl out of the lean-to.
As we crawl out, I look at Julian. Help me clean this up. Pointing at the blanket and sticks.
Yeah, you can just put it back in the bag. He goes into the bag, pulls out like a canteen of something, pulls out the stopper, and immediately like puts his head away from it, like it's like it stinks.
Yeah.
And is going to just like pour that over top of the
Baby.
Yeah.
Well, that's insult to injury.
Cover the scent.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, is this like a natural smell type of thing, like a musk, or is it more like a motor oil, or?
It's in that a natural
Okay.
smell. Basically, Julian had to mix some of this stuff together out in the wild too.
Okay, gotcha. So you guys are able to head back to where you left Sam and Archie and Katari and...
As we're walking, I just asked Julian one quick question. I see what you did, but how did you actually kill this thing?
Small lessons.
Okay.
Now you know when you see those tracks. You don't see the big ones anymore. That's as far as you go.
Yep. Understood completely. Don't want to get tangled up with a mama like that. Swallow me whole.
No. They like to take their time.
Now, when you get back to camp, are you planning to, cure any of it, or do you plan to just eat what you can and then move on, or...
No.
We want to cure as much as we can. So as soon as we get back, I start working on building a fire.
Sounds like a good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a good scene. It seems like you're traveling okay. Who's been taking point on most of the path finding?
Jerr.
Jerr.
Kind of makes sense with everything covered in ice.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that we're headed towards Choler City to get an airship from there.
Okay. That's where you've been directing the...
How many days would it take to go to Choler City?
By foot?
Yeah.
Couple
10 days.
I would say about 2 weeks at most.
Yeah. Okay, so we're approaching Choler City. We see a dome. That's the first thing we see.
Okay.
So I go over to Jerr. Jerr, what city is that?
That's Choler.
Had to be, didn't it?
I didn't name it.
I know. So is that where we're going?
Yeah, I figure we can get an airship from there down to... We haven't named that place yet.
The preserve.
The Preserve.
An airship? Are you sure that's the best idea?
From the back, nope, says Julian.
It's better than going overseas.
Are you sure about that? Because there's all sorts of people that go on the sea. Airships truly controlled by the council.
Or the council.
Not outside of Choler. Going south from Choler, it's different.
Because I guarantee you that they have our identities waiting for us at Choler City.
There's a place in the south of the city that doesn't care what you look like.
So we're not actually going into the city?
We're going to go around it.
Okay. So how close are we getting to the actual city?
Close enough.
So around these domes,
Yes.
I know it's heated inside the domes. Does it radiate out from the dome at all? Like, is there like a melted, like a 10-foot patch of melted ice around the dome? Or?
That would be some pretty poor insulation. Actually, outside of Choler City, there are moats dug out. They had an uprising about 40-odd years ago, and people started trying to forcibly leave the city. So they dug these moats with the intention that if someone actually got through the dome, because the dome is set about 20 feet above the ground, and then the moat goes down another 15 feet or so. So if someone tries to get out at an unauthorized point, they'll fall into the moat.
Whereas considerably it was on top of a hill, so if you escape, they could shoot at you.
Exactly. But one thing about Choler City, there have been known sky pirates. You know, sometimes there are people, smugglers, ne'er-do-wells, people who are willing to leave the wretched hive of scum and villainy to maybe take some passengers to a doomed planet without too many questions asked.
No council entanglements.
No counselor entanglements.
All right, Jerr. So airship. How much is this going to cost us?
How much do you have?
Not much. All my money is basically tied up in the city stuff. It counts, you know.
Right.
I've always been above board until now. I have my council-issued credit bracelet. No, that's not true. I took that off when we left the city.
I was about to say.
That's a great tracking device you got, implanted on your wrist there, sir.
Yeah.
We just need the airship to get over the mountains.
Okay. How are we going to pay for it?
That depends on who's willing to take us.
Know any of these pilots?
It's been some years since I've traveled this way.
Some years meaning 5 or 20?
100?
Closer to 20.
So the people you knew probably no longer there. What you're saying.
Yeah, but I know where to look.
Okay. We're trusting you.
Well, at least you will. I'm not too sure about Julian.
He's letting you lead, isn't he?
No, he's keeping us alive.
Well, yes, I get that, but he's letting you lead the direction.
That's fair.
So, we get to where we can see the moats, I guess, but we don't want to be spotted by anybody inside the city. How wide are the moats?
They're about 20 feet wide.
There's no jumping that.
So yeah, we don't want to go up to the moat, because then any guards are there, because they would see us.
I would imagine they have thermal cameras.
Yeah, I imagine so, but again, we want to stay far enough back that they wouldn't be able to visually see us.
Okay.
So, I guess we go around the city. When we get to where you say this airbase would be,
Yes.
what do we see at the airbase?
You see some outbuildings and a cantina. You see actually what looks like towers. You know those fire towers that they have on like ridges so that they can, like, park rangers can watch for forest fires and things like that. They have towers like that with stairs that go up in the inside of the legs.
Okay.
There's a couple of landing bays, and you can see like some small airships that are docked at each of the landing bays.
Are the airships labeled at all, like company label logos, or is it just they're all look pretty much the same?
They're all rather differently decorated. Some of them have like fins coming off of them in multiple colors. Some of them one of them is painted all matte black. Some of them are just like trying to pass. They have insignias that look very close to like official military insignia, but there's always something wrong with it. Just like if you saw it from a couple of 100 kilometers.
Like the Starbucks shirts.
Yeah. If you saw it like a couple of like kilometers away, you probably wouldn't notice until you got too terribly close to it. Some of them have like registration numbers painted on the side. One of them actually looks like it's been painted in black and white zigzag.
So I gather the whole group together. Okay, so we need to figure out which ship we're going to take and how we're going to pay for it. What resources do we have that we can trade?
I have a jar of dirt.
That's not your jar of dirt.
Julian's like, Bear, you can't eat that, and takes it back.
Yes, we're going to pay. Not necessarily money, but we're not going to hijack the ship.
I mean,
We're trying to get out of this without dying.
I'm not a fan of being in an enclosed space when we are wanted by the country that we are flying out of.
I agree. I feel the same way.
Alright, we'll put it to a vote.
Do I get two?
No, you only get one.
Depends on who's voting. And I'm not so sure that everybody's vote still counts right now.
Why are you looking at me?
I just decided to look around the circle there. Don't worry, you're fine. And then looks at Archie.
How is Katari looking at this point?
She has good days and she has bad days,
Okay.
but she's been spending a lot of time on a stretcher.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteer myself to steal the aircraft.
Why couldn't we steal it?
That's... What?
Because
Thank
none
you.
of us know how to fly one.
How hard can it be?
You'll
Have you
learn
ever
as
been
you
on
go.
one?
What's that?
Have you ever been on one?
Yeah.
This is why I said I'm not sure whose vote should count
We
right
flew-
now, because this is...
Buy some
Ridiculous.
parachutes, and then we steal the aircraft. If we start going down, we jump out of the aircraft.
And land in the sea?
But yeah, so we flew from Consiglio all the way over to Marnoline. I did some minor tasks.
Did you ever see the cockpit?
No. But again, how hard can it be?
Pretty difficult.
Have you flown one?
No, but I've seen the cockpit, and I've witnessed them flying the ship, and I couldn't do it.
Is there instructions on how to pilot one in the helmet?
At this point, Sam says, no, I haven't tried it.
And you shouldn't. You know why you have that thing.
Alright, so it sounds like
Our group is torn.
our group is torn.
No ways in the world.
I want to get there as quick as we can, but at the same time, I agree with Julian that getting tied up in a closed environment inside of a country where we are wanted is not a good idea.
Someone that's not even well enough to walk on their own.
Yes.
That's not going to raise red flags to any person that's going to offer us transport.
If we're already wanted, just do it.
Can we be any more hunted than we are?
Do you have
Yes.
a persuasion roll?
We can.
I mean, who am I persuading here?
Well, it sounds like Sam is pretty on board with stealing an airship. It sounds like Jerr is easily convinced into stealing an airship. Julian is dead set against stealing an airship.
Can we have a combined persuasion?
So, Sam is...
Getting bored.
No. Sam is willing to do either. but would have fun stealing an airship.
I would have fun not carrying a body around.
That's what we do.
Okay, hear me out.
Add her on a card.
We buy some dogs.
Okay.
We buy a sled.
Okay.
Is that body of water frozen?
Is that body of water frozen?
We ride
Not
across
entirely.
it, right? I mean,
That's ocean.
Oh, wait, do you know what was actually frozen then?
No, we did not.
Really?
I mean, that's a good idea. At least to get us to the mountains, that would work. Dog
Sure,
sleds.
yeah.
Be a lot quicker than going by foot.
Don't we run into the same problem, though? We don't have money.
Again, what resources
steal
do we
the
have
dogs.
to I can talk the sale to happen, I think. But we need to have something to give. To trade. That goes back to my original question. What resources do we have that we can trade?
That we're willing to give up?
Yes.
Nothing. We don't have anything. We only took what we needed.
We have information.
Service.
What kind of service?
Myrrh, mayo.
No. Might as well steal the ship. Building
Look, we
illegal
have
weapons.
2 individuals that are in need of some elemental medical
Yes.
attention.
We are. We do. That's why I'm trying to get us there as quick as we can.
So we don't need to be taking side jobs just to earn money to pay for transportation.
Alright. Tell you what. How about this? We'll take 1 day camp here. During that day, Archie, you go locate where we can acquire some dogs. Sam, I know you love airships. Go ask around the airships of what it would cost to fly.
Can I trade with Archie?
That's up to you two.
Sam's going for the dogs.
Same one.
Julian, you're in charge of the camp, like always, of course. You know what's going on out here better than any of us. Jerr, do a checkup on Qatari.
Like I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I know,
anyways.
but I'm just saying, do your normal checkup with Qatari, and then figure out where we can acquire sleds.
And what would our self-appointed leader be doing?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
wait
was
for
feeling
what
that too.
I'm waiting for when you all tell me where we can get this stuff, so I can go negotiate the best deal for us.
So just sit in your protected little box like the council member that you are and tell everybody else what to do.
I'm just throwing ideas here. We don't have to go with my plan. I'm trying to come up with something for us to do here.
I'll take Bear.
Does he still not have a face?
But no, he doesn't. But I want to go see the airship.
That's where
that's
I'm
where
going.
yeah, that's where he's going.
Bear, pay attention.
But I was thinking about cheese.
So, Julian, do you have any other suggestions besides just
I
walking?
have tons of suggestions, but no one wants to hear them.
I'm asking what they are besides just walking.
I'm all yours.
Oh, besides just walking? No.
Yes.
That is the best option.
Why is that better than a dog sled, which would get us there quicker?
Because we don't have to interact with anybody.
So how has the training lessons with Chime been going over the past few weeks?
Resisting.
On whose end?
Chimes.
So this logjam has been in the making for the entire trips, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Which we will get to heavily once we get
I'm
to Julian's
sure.
episode.
I'm sure.
But it looks like we're going to have to find out what happens, though, as we continue with this narrative. For this week, we're going to go ahead and leave off here. We hope you've enjoyed listening. Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Ellie, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is bonethrowerstheater. You can also look us up on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.